All right, hello everyone. My name is Matt. If this is your first time here, I am an ESL teacher in China. I've been living and teaching in China since 2013. Before that, I was in Korea, and now I make PowerPoints and videos to show other ESL teachers how to teach ESL in a large public school. Okay, and I also sell these PowerPoints, so if you want to download them, you can just go in the video description below and you can see a long list of PowerPoints there. You can download and teach to your own class, or you can go on Taobao, and I have a Taobao store and you can find my lessons there as well. So in today's video, I'm going to be walking through two different PowerPoints which actually go together. Originally, I had them as one big PowerPoint. I mean, it was a little bit different. I changed them. I added some things for these two versions, but there were, it was a much longer PowerPoint when it was one lesson. I thought it was too much for a single class. I went back and looked at it and I thought this is just too much. You know, if a teacher is going to try to teach all this in a single lesson, it's too much. I actually taught the language for this lesson to grade 3, and there's a video of that lesson. I'll leave a link in the video description below. You can go and check it out. But the lesson was quite different then. It was a shorter version. My grade 3s are pretty good. They were pretty good that year. So I could get through the whole lesson the way I had it designed before in a single class, but the way I have it designed now, it's too much. Even before I added stuff and split it into two lessons, it was just too long. So in this video, I'm going to show you two different parts of the lesson. There's part 1, and you can download part 1 and teach it if you just want part 1, or there's part 2 if you just want to download part 2 and teach part 2. Or you can buy them as a combo deal. I will have links to all three, part 1, part 2, and the part 1 and 2 combo deal if you want to download both. So I really hope you guys enjoy this. In today's video, I'm not going to go through in as much detail as I normally do in walkthroughs. Just because it's two full PowerPoints, it's going to be too long. And also, I think a lot of people just want to go and check out like what my slides look like. They want to see how I'm teaching these lessons, how I'm designing these lessons. They're not so concerned about like how I go through each step of the lesson. If you are interested in that, if you do want to see more detail, leave a comment below and I will respond to you. And I'll know in future videos that you guys want more detailed walkthroughs, because I felt like, you know, my previous walkthroughs, I went through with a lot of detail, and I think most people just want to see what the slides look like and they have their own way of teaching. And, you know, some people do want my methods or how I'm doing it, but maybe not in so much detail. It would just take too long for a single video. If you want to see what my class actually look like, just browse through my channel. You can click on any of those videos and see what I'm actually doing in a full class, how I interact with the kids, how I go through my PowerPoints and everything like that. So I really hope you guys find this useful. If you do, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, let's get into the walkthroughs. Okay, let's have a look at this PowerPoint. So I'm not going to go through in extreme detail and explain how to teach every single part of this lesson. The main point of this is just to show people what the slides look like. So if they decide to download this PowerPoint themselves, they know what they're getting. And also, I think a lot of you who are watching this video just want to see what an ESL PowerPoint looks like, and you're not so interested in exactly how I'm teaching the lesson, but you want to just see what it looks like. Okay, so you can design your own lessons that way. If you do want to see more detail, let me know in the comments below, because I think that it's my feeling that most people just want to see the slides and they're not so interested in actually what I'm doing in class. They can just watch me teach in my other videos the full class lessons, and they can see how it looks like. So if you are curious about that detail, let me know. I will show some detail. I will say things in more detail at some points in the lesson, but not all. Okay, so in this lesson we're teaching 5 words. So here are the 5 words. I originally taught this to grade 3, and the part 1 and part 2 of this lesson you're going to see today were all taught in one lesson, obviously with less games, less activities. So I got through in 45 minutes, but it was a much shorter lesson, but the same language. But I think my grade 3s are probably at a higher level than most grade 3s. So I designed this so that, you know, a high level grade 2 or a regular grade 3 or 4 could handle it, and not just like the more advanced students like that I have. Because in my class, you know, I have a good percentage of my students would know almost all of these words I'm teaching this lesson, besides frustrated and excited. You know, hungry, thirsty, tired, all of my students will know these words. So it's just mostly teaching the sentence structures, okay? So as you know, I teach actions in my classes. So the first game here has to do with using the actions to get students in the front to guess. The first student to guess can get points. That's a very basic game. I played it in a lot of my classes. You can check out other videos or in-class videos to see how that game works. It's very simple. If you have questions about that, leave a comment below and I'll respond to you. Okay, this game was actually featured in my 5 more great games for ESL classrooms PowerPoint download you could do that I posted a few months back. This is an updated version. It's a better version. I actually updated that download. So this is now the updated PowerPoint there. If you want to download that, this is a part of that package. This is the updated version. I updated the thumbnail so you can see it there, but the video itself obviously was posted previously, so it's different. Very basic. Students need to just say the numbers. As the numbers get removed, they can see a picture behind there. You can adjust this so that there's actually vocabulary words here, not just numbers, or anything you want, okay? So that the students actually get, it's like a review plus learning the new stuff because they have to say what's on there. So in this case, it's a review of saying 1 through 20, but you could do it any way you like. Okay, so here's how the game actually looks. Students would call out numbers. You have them raise their hand. They say a number. The numbers get removed, and the first student to recognize what it is can get a point. Okay, and then they say it together as a class. Okay, it's very basic. Student raise their hand. They say 19. Okay, click 19. Anyone know? Okay, no one knows. And some student raise their hand from the next team. 8. Anyone know now? Oh, it's excited. Okay, first student gets a point. Very, very basic. It's a very fun game. I'll just skip ahead so for time's sake we can see both these lessons. All right, teaching part 2. So I show them the Chinese word and they have to tell me what it is. And if no one knows it, I show them. It's the word feel, and then I show them the Chinese sentence, and I'll ask someone to see if they can translate it for me, and there it goes. Okay, I'll drill it a few times. Again, I do this in every class this way, just to make sure they understand on the same page with me. It's in their first language. If you download this lesson, you can change the Chinese into Korean or Japanese or Thai or wherever you are if you want to adjust it. It's very easy. Okay, and same thing here. They can see the question. I have the whole class say it together. How do you feel? And you can teach an action as well with that. And then a student would stand up based on the Chinese there. They would say, I feel hungry. Okay, same thing here. How do you feel? The student would say, I feel tired. Okay, whole class can say it. And then I would just, one student each team, I would call them to stand up. And the whole class says, how do you feel? They say the answer. And just to make sure they're getting a little bit extra practice before we move on to the guessing game. So game 1 is the guessing game, or game 2, I should say. Very simple. How do you feel? I would call one student from each team. They would all guess it's one of these. So it's either thirsty, excited, or tired. That's what's behind this question mark. They don't know which one it is. Each team guesses once. I write on the board what each team guessed, and then I reveal the answer. The answer in this case was excited. The team that guessed excited gets points, okay? And I have a few rounds like this. Make sure if you are doing this, the whole class asks the question together. How do you feel? Each student guesses with the full sentence. I feel frustrated. Okay. I feel thirsty. I feel hungry. Then reveal the answer. Points are awarded. All right. A few rounds like this, and move on to the next activity, which is the bullseye game. So, bullseye game is really fun, really simple, pretty much. I'll draw a bullseye on the board. You can draw a bullseye the way I have it there, or with, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or all the way to 10 if you like. I call on students to participate. I have a sticky ball. You need a sticky ball, or you can use any other kind of ball you want that can make a mark or on the board so you know where it landed. And the whole class asks, how do you feel? And they say, I feel thirsty. And then they throw a sticky ball, and points are awarded, okay? You can do it so that they have to stand far away, and they have to say 3 of them or 4 of them. So they stand in the back of the class. Everyone says, how do you feel? They say, I feel hungry. Take a step forward. How do you feel? I feel thirsty. Take a step forward. They can do it that way each time they get to take a step. And they can start all the way at the back of the class, so they could be taking as long as steps they possibly can until they're close enough. I do it sometimes where I have different marks on the floor. First mark, they get +1. So if they throw and get a 5, they get 5 + 1. A little further away from the board is +2. So if they stand on that line and throw it, if they hit a 3, it's 3 + 2, and then they get 5. Or they could stand really far away and get +3. Hit a bullseye with +3. It's 5 + 3 is 8. So that's a way to make it more fun, more interesting. And that's the end of the first lesson, okay? It's just a review after this. You could play the bullseye game for 5 minutes or 10 minutes so kids have a chance to play from each team. Here's just review at the end of the class, and I would just walk around and say, how do you feel? Blah, 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 okay? It's a very simple lesson. It's a very fun lesson for the students. You can really take your time in the beginning with the actions, making sure they know the words, excited, frustrated, hungry, tired, depending on the level of your students, pronunciation, everything like that. If you download this PowerPoint, you can even add in some extra things. These PowerPoints are editable, so you can do anything you want to them. Change the words, change the language, add in your own game, add in your own activity. You can have a writing activity, do whatever you like. This is just the basic lesson that you would get if you downloaded it. And now let's move into part 2. Okay, let's check out part 2. I know I'm talking really quickly, but the reason for that is I don't want to waste your time. If you've come here just to check out what the PowerPoint looks like, I just want to show it to you as quickly as I can so you know what you're getting if you download it, or if you're curious about how I put these PowerPoints together, you can just see what they look like, okay? Like I said, if you do want more detail about how to teach it or how I put together these PowerPoints, you can leave a comment below and I will respond to you. Okay, so obviously the first thing we're gonna do, this is now a week later or the next class later, a day or 2 days or 3 days later, we need to review. Okay, so let's review, choose one of the pictures and say the vocabulary word. Okay, so left a little note here for you guys, teacher needs to click the picture for points. Here's how it works. So there are 2 of each of the words. Students would raise their hand and they would say frustrated, and I'll say blue or green. They say blue. Okay, click on it, and there's points there. There's the word frustrated and points. Okay, go to the next team. They choose one. They say hungry, green. Okay, there's 2 hungries, right? And I click on the green one, and there you get points. So it's programmed that no matter what you click on, that's the point. That's which one pops up. Okay, so you can let the students have the freedom to choose which one they want, and they can say it. Okay, it's just a review, so they can be refreshed about what the words were from last week, and you can review the actions for each one. There's actions for the words: hungry, tired, thirsty, excited. Okay, and then you could play the TPR game if you want. Okay, of course this PowerPoint's editable. Don't want to teach it? Okay, skip past. Totally up to you. The kids love the action game, so I'm definitely going to use this if I am reviewing. They really like it. Okay, and then again, review the main language from the previous lesson. So the students will raise their hand, they'll say feel, and then see who can translate it. They should easily be able to do this since they learned it in the previous week. Okay, and then you can call on students to give you their answer. Just a review of all of the language from the previous week before we add on, okay? Okay, let's learn. That's part 2. Okay, so teaching part 1. All right, how do you say this in English? The students will tell you, and then you show this. See who can make a sentence. So who can make a sentence with this? Okay, so yes, I want a banana. Very easy. Now they understand the concept. Okay, want is out of the way. Now let's see this. So I feel hungry. What do I want? Let's see if they say. So the students will probably start telling you different foods. So you can just show this. Say I want, right? And there is a word there. Now the students need to tell you how to say that word in English. If you are in a different country, you can change this to whatever the local language is. Very easily, just click on it, erase that, and type in with the keyboard that you use in the country you're in to put in the word you want. In my class for grade 3, this word was very easy. They all knew it. So again, I taught this lesson and the previous lesson in one class. I taught it a little bit differently than this PowerPoint, but language is the same. Depending on your student's level, you need to make a judgment. Is it too hard for grade 2? Then don't teach it to grade 2, teach it to grade 3 or 4. Okay, so each one of these, it's a cause and effect, right? We learned hungry last week. Now, what do we do when we're hungry? We want to eat, okay? Next one. So I feel frustrated. What do I want when I'm frustrated, okay? So I want to, all right, what is this word? What's this word? See if the students know. It should be scream, okay? So when you feel frustrated, you want to scream, right? That's what you want to do. You definitely want to scream, okay? So again, here, I feel excited. What do you want to do when you're excited? You want to dance. That's right. Now with these, you can also teach actions, of course. Dance has an action, scream has an action, sleep has an action. You can teach more actions. You can even move the action game to after you teach this part if you so choose. The action game we had in the review, you can use these new words, these verbs as the action game. You can just easily cut, paste, move the pictures. Very easy. If you need help with doing that, leave a comment below and I'll explain it to you. Okay, I feel tired. What do I want to do? Very easy. What should they want to do if they're tired? That's right. They want to sleep when you're tired. And when you feel thirsty, what do you want? You want to drink water. You could just change this to drink, but I like my students to be healthy, so I wanted to say drink water when you're thirsty. Don't drink soda or something like that. Okay? All right, so this is the flying words review. Here's how it works. So I would call on, you can have the whole class play or just choose one student. You push it, the word flies across, and the students need to say what letter it is. So in this case, it's A. Okay, first student to say A gets a point. Flies across. Oh, what was that? Oh, it was C. It was eat. That's right. Good job. Points are awarded. Next one. Oh, that was very fast. What was that? Oh, yeah, it was scream, wasn't it? That's right, D, scream. Okay, so that's what this game. Whoa, drink water, A, and I wonder what this one is. Yes, it is dance. Okay, and the next game is the write the letter game. So it's very simple. Choose one student from each team, bring them to the front, give them a space to write, and here's how it works. I will show, I feel hungry, I want to, and the students will need, they'll just see this. I feel hungry, I want to, and the whole class can read it together, and you show this. The first student to write A will get a point. Now, you can have them write the full word if you want. If that's how you want to do it, you want to really help their spelling, you can change it to write the word game, not write the letter. Thinking about time and stuff like this in my class, I just have them write the letter. I'm teaching a speaking class, so I'm not so concerned if they can write it as quickly as they can. It'll end up being scribble on the board anyway. But if you want to make it a writing class, a writing game, totally up to you. You can very easily just tell them they need to write the word, not the letter. I have done that where I've said I wanted the letter, and then I've told them this time write the word, and they do it. Okay, so it's very easy to do. You just change it, so they have to do that. Okay, same thing for each one. Rinse and repeat, changing students each round. And yep, that's how this one works. And teaching part 3. All right, so here we're getting into it. This is the main part of the lesson, the juice, the meat of the lesson. This is the word so. Okay, so I would show in their home language, and they need to tell me how to say in English. We can go word by word if they don't know. I feel hungry, so I want to eat. That's right. Okay, next one, who can translate it? I feel thirsty, so I want to drink. Okay, good job. Whole class says together, and you can even teach an action with the word so if you choose. All right, let's move on to the next part. Okay, so next part, I would actually go call on one team to stand up, and I would have them say it as a group together as I go through it. So as I'm clicking through, the whole team is saying, I feel thirsty, so I want to, and I'll make them say it really loud, what it is, okay? Drink water, period. Don't forget the period, okay? And then that team can sit down and do the same thing with the next team. Are you guys ready? Good job. Okay, say it together. I feel tired, so, and you can have an action for so, like so, or whatever you want, whatever action feels natural for you. So I want to sleep, okay? That team sits down, next team stands up, and rinse and repeat for each one, just so they're getting some drilling and stuff like that. You can even make it a game. You could make the whole class play. So I feel frustrated, and they have to say, so I want to scream, okay? There's a bunch of ways you can do it. There's not only a single way to do it, okay? There's tons of ways to do it. And in my class, if I teach this lesson 4 or 5 times one day, I experiment with different methods, and I also know my students. I know which classes can do what. I will, if I have a class which is a little louder than other classes, I won't do it the same way. All right, so the next one is the roll the die game. You need to have a die. Very simple. So the whole class says, how do you feel? Well, first you need to choose a student, bring them to the front, give them a die. You can bring up 2 students if you like, give each one of them a die. Then the whole class says, how do you feel? Then they roll a die. The single student rolls both die, or you can have one die rolled once. Right on the board, he rolled a 2. Next die is rolled, and then let's say he rolls a 4. Okay, so in this game, if they match them, if they get the match, then they get points. If they don't get a match, they can get like 1 or 2 points just for being correct. So in this case, if they rolled a 2 and a 4, it would be, I feel excited, so I want to eat. Okay, that's not right, but you can still give them 2 points for saying the sentence correctly, being able to say the words. But if they get a match, so let's say they rolled a 2 and a 5, so I feel excited, so I want to dance, that is the winner, okay? I originally played this game in 2017, I believe. This was the end game of that lesson. Students absolutely loved it. I did it, I think in the video of this lesson that I had from last year with grade 3, I think this was the final game as well. Students really like it because it's funny, if it doesn't match. If you rolled a 5 and you rolled 1, I feel frustrated, so I want to drink water. That doesn't make any sense. So they'd start laughing. And if they roll a 6, they get 2 points and can roll again. Okay, so all the students want a 6. If they get a 6, that's the golden ticket. 6 is another roll plus 2 points. So one time the student rolled 6, I think 2 or 3 times in a row. So team got a bunch of points there before they even had to say any English. Okay, so this is fun. You can have each group play 1 round, I think is enough before we move on into the Sleeping Kittens game. Now, okay, so this game was actually featured on my 4 Great Games for ESL Classroom's PowerPoint lesson. I went into extreme detail in that PowerPoint about how to play the game. I'll go through it very quickly just so you can see it, but if you want more detail, you can go and check out that video. I'll leave a link in the video description below. Okay, so the way it works is there are 4 students from each team. So if you have 4 teams, 16 students can play this game simultaneously. All students in the team will close their eyes, put their heads down, and you will say, okay, student number 1 or kitten number 1, wake up and look at the screen. Okay, that kitten will wake up and look at the screen and see 1 word, or in this case, in this class, they're going to see several words. They need to remember those words and not say anything, go back to sleep. Next student will wake up, look at the board, same thing, see a word, or in this case, a few words, remember them, go back to sleep. Kitten 3 and 4 will do the same thing, and once they all know the words, you will tell them to wake up, and they need to make a sentence and write it on the board. Okay, so you need to talk to each other, tell each other what the words are that they were given, and then they need to put them together into a sentence. So in the simple case, they all tell each other, so this, what color is, oh, what color is this? And they write it on the board, okay? First team to write it can get 1 point, and then here's the way the scoring works, okay? So if they have all of the words, they can get 1 point, okay? Even if they're spelled wrong. If they have all of the words and they're spelled correctly, they can get 2 points. And if they have all the words and they're spelled correctly, and they have a capital letter and a question mark, or in this case, in this class, if they have a period and a comma, they can get extra points, okay? 1 point, not extra points. They get 1 more point. And then, like I said, the first team to finish and sit down and sit nicely gets 1 point. And then, again, the scoring works like this, all words, 1 point, okay? And then, the way I do it in my class is if whichever team sits down the fastest is quiet, and their whole team is quiet as well, not just the students that were playing, but the whole team is also very quiet and respectful, they can get extra points as well, okay? Okay, so I'll just show you what it looks like really quickly in the class. You'll say round 1, you'll bring up 4 students from each team. They'll stand in a line with their heads down like this, facing the class that is seated, the seated students which are in the class, so they're facing away from the board. That way, it just takes away an easy way for them to look and try to cheat, Okay, so you'll say all kittens go to sleep, then the first kitten wakes up, he looks and sees the 1 word, remembers it, doesn't say a word, and sits and closes their eyes and puts their head back like this. Now, if they say the word, or any students in the crowd say the word in the class, you need to be strict. I remove like 5 points from their team if that happens, okay? So it happens sometimes in the beginning of the year especially. 5 points are removed and they never make that mistake again. You've got to be strict. You've got to be strict with this sort of stuff, okay? And then kid number 2 wakes up. Okay, there's 2 words here. I feel. Okay, don't say anything. Remember, I feel. And they'll try to be remembering how to spell it, okay? They'll try to be like memorizing the spelling, okay? And same thing here, you can see, so I want, okay. And there we go, and to eat, okay? So then they have to put it together into a sentence. They all wake up and they run to the board and write it, okay? And like I said, first student to write it out, even if it's misspelled or whatever, gets 1 point automatically. So some kids, I can't spell, they'll just try to scribble it out and try to get all the words, and then they can get an extra point. If they just write 1 letter or something, or it looks like they didn't try at all, I don't give them the point. But it looks like if they tried, but they just really don't know how to spell anything, they can still have 1 point. Okay, then I show the answer. Again, there's a comma here. You can point that out that there's going to be a comma if you want. I didn't put I don't believe let me see if I had the comma there. Could they see the comma? I don't even remember. Let's see. So there's not a comma there. Hungry. Okay, I didn't have the comma there. So this is something the students would need to remember. You can add the comma in. I might think about maybe going back and adding the comma there. I didn't think of that, but maybe putting the comma there would help. That way that student remembered there was a comma next to that word. I think originally when I was creating this, I didn't put the comma because I'm I really want to see if they can remember there was a comma when they saw it earlier in the class, even though I didn't have it here. So maybe I won't add it. I don't know. It's up to you if you want to go in. It's very easy just to pull these aside and add that comma in if you want. Sometimes I think the best teaching method, is to not have it there, and then once you show the way it should be the first time after the first round, they will see the comma. None of the teams will get full points for punctuation, and then you can they'll remember the next round. Okay, that before the word so there should be a comma. Okay, and there's a few rounds like this. I don't know how many rounds are here, but because this game does take some time, that is one of the reasons that I want to split this lesson into two lessons. That's why there's two PowerPoints, because I think this, you want to have at least 10 minutes to play this game, so you can play a few rounds, because the game takes, it could take like 4 or 5 minutes for each round to happen. So it's a fun game. You want to make sure they have time. And in my original, which with a lot of this stuff put together, there was no way it could be completed in one class. Although these two PowerPoints have additional games than the original one I had, even the original one, because I was selling this lesson before as one lesson, but it was shorter. It didn't have as many activities, but I still thought it was a stretch to fit it into one lesson. That's why I broke it up here. All right, so that's the end of the second lesson. All right, that's the end of the video. I really hope you found that useful. As I said previously, I didn't go through this lesson in much detail. I just kind of went through and showed the slides. A little bit detail here and there, but not too much. If you do want to know more detail about a certain part of the lesson, leave a comment below. And again, if you want to download these lessons, don't forget you can download part 1, part 2, or you can download part 1 and 2 as a combo deal on either Taobao, or you can go in the link in the video description below and you can find the downloads there. Really hope to see you guys in the next video. If you wouldn't mind, smash the like button for me and subscribe to my channel. And yep, goodbye.